I'm going to talk about the next Friday the 13th movie. Just watched it, and I actually did like this one. I think there were not inconsistencies, but some awkward choices made to certain parts of the movie, but overall it was entertaining, it was fun, and it sort of just sort of progresses from what the other movies are and just can sort of dive into the lore a little bit and just have some fun with it. I've noticed that a lot of horror movies, when there are enough sequels, sometimes they just sort of lose the plot and the sequels end up going so far away from the original that it's unrecognizable. This franchise, I feel like, for the most part, can sort of still create or recapture what the first and second one felt like, while also having new twists or characters or supernatural elements thrown in there. So, at the core of the Friday the 13th franchise, it is Jason Voorhees alive by some means, just creating absolute havoc on Camp Crystal Lake, and throw in a couple likable characters, throw in some characters that are just cannon fodder, basically, and just have fun with it. And that's what this one did, so I did really enjoy it. I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to go and put this back just so I can take it back out in a second. But I'm going to show you guys the box as I have. I'll just leave this out. I'm showing you guys the Scream Factory box I have. This sort of shows multiple Jason Voorhees appearances from multiple sides. As I'm seeing more and more movies, I'm starting to recognize these different appearances, which I thought was kind of cool. When I first bought it, I was like, yeah, it looks like they sort of did their own unique thing with it, but no, this is versions of how he looked throughout the franchise. So it just makes me not only appreciate this box set more, but just appreciate having this at all, I think. And so obviously each of the movies has its own cover art. So for this one, the 7th installment of the franchise is Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. So this one's pretty interesting. For this one, I did read the back of it before diving into it, just because I was a little curious what was going on with it. I know it's probably better to go into these blind, especially so far deep into the franchise at this point. 7 movies in, I'm gonna finish the franchise. I know with Halloween, I've seen the first 5 and I've kind of stalled watching the rest of them, which I do plan to see the rest of them. I just somehow, with all these movies coming out and purchasing older movies, just Halloween just fell from my priority list, and I just wanted to see other stuff instead. But Friday the 13th is kind of just stayed at the top of my priority list when it comes to movies, and I can't really explain why. It's just entertaining enough to keep me in the mood where when I'm selecting a movie to watch, I'm just like, yeah, let's just see the new Friday the 13th, or for me, the new one, the next one to watch. And so for this, I do like the cover art. I thought it's pretty neat, especially with the different, because you can see her with the telekinesis stuff, which isn't really a spoiler. If you see a trailer, you'll see that. If you read the back of the box, it will say that. So that part was interesting, which I think kind of makes it stand out as sort of an original take on it, because it was so different. It sounds so wacky, but it just kind of works for this, because I think for me, the telekinesis part of the movie, having your main character, Tina, she has telekinesis, where her mother has taken her near Camp Crystal Lake, basically, to this doctor who wants to help her, but he's kind of this sketchy dude that I think he just wants to see how far her powers can go. He's not actually trying to help her. So, of course, while she's at Camp Crystal Lake, all these other people are bringing her over to the party, and everyone's getting to know each other, so it just throws these characters into the mix of the rest of all the characters. But she has telekinesis, and I think that aspect of this movie, I think, gives the survivors a fighting chance against Jason Voorhees, which is something that you don't really feel that some of these other movies have. A lot of these movies, especially this far into the franchise, you suspect maybe 1 or 2 characters might survive, but having a fighting chance, it was actually more exciting because I felt like there were some stakes again. It felt like maybe he could die for real, knowing there's more movies, but, this isn't the first time. This is now the second time that Jason Voorhees has been brought back by a supernatural force. This isn't just him surviving the attacks from the previous movie, as sort of the beginning of the franchise sort of implemented those ideas. Having him survive instead of just come back to life. But that's what they've done for the past 2 movies. And at this point, it's sort of expected. I don't think it's cheesy to the point where I'm disinterested. They're still entertaining and they're still fun. So I think the fact that they just decide, yes, let's just use a supernatural force, bring him back so he can wreak havoc again. It feels familiar putting him in that role again without having to take too long of the movie explaining this really complicated stretch of a survival story. Just he's brought back, he can get straight to the action, and it's more fun as viewers. So for that reason, I did like this movie a lot. I don't know if it's one of my favorites. It's definitely up there. It's definitely, if I had to rank the 7, this one's definitely not near the bottom. So yeah, I did really like it. There is a pretty neat showdown with cameos of, I say cameos, but it's really just an appearance of a character that you thought was already dead, and it was pretty cool when that character shows up. And so there were some really interesting moments with this one. Of course, you do have a lot of your cannon fodder characters. I thought the kills were pretty good too. The franchise, I think, has progressed to the point where they have sort of ignored the showing someone killed off camera or sneaking or kind of preying on people off camera. Because some of the movies did that, where you see someone sneaking behind someone and then that character is found dead later. So there's really no fake outs with this movie. It just sort of dives right into the action. It shows the kills. They're creative. It's interesting. It's fun. And yeah, I think this is a great entry for this franchise. I don't know. I don't know enough people that I guess have told me they've seen all of these to really hear much feedback of this one. But so far, I'm 7 movies in. I like this one too. So I can't wait to see the rest of them. Thank you guys for watching my review of the next installment of this franchise. And I look forward to putting in my next review when I see the next one. Thanks, guys. Keep it digging.